people, and welcome to Through a Different Lens podcast. I'm your co-host, Joe.
And I'm Jacob.
And how are you, my boy? Good?
Yeah, man, a day removed from losing in the playoffs, the only thing you can do is record and, reflect, record and, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I mean, it was a bit of a cagey game, but it was a good cagey game, if that makes sense. Like first half, especially, anyway. And then, yeah, just literally one goal, and that's it. And I think it's kind of shown throughout playoffs across English football. Most games haven't really been well, especially the latter stages of games like semi-finals and finals. Most games haven't been hectic, like heavily one-sided. I think you saw that with the National League North. I don't know if you saw that result after and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong in terms of the way the game was. The game felt it was interesting. Like I felt like they had the first like 15, 20 minutes. I don't know what we weren't really in any we were in shape, but they were kind of dominating the first 15, 20 minutes, even maybe the first half hour. And then we
Do you
kind of
know? I don't. It was. I know what you mean, but it wasn't actually that long. I remember looking at the clock, and it was only like 10 minutes. Then once you lot grew into the game, I was like, bro, it feels like 20, 25 minutes. Because one
yeah.
of my boys called me just before half time and he was watching on TV and he said you lot were the better team. And
Yeah, so I felt like we were the better team keeping the ball and trying to
mm,
move and get into positions, and like we'd get into I was getting the ball and able to drive into areas and then move it wide and that sort of stuff. I just felt like we didn't have anything. When you have no clear cut or don't have any real
yeah,
opportunities, you feel like the game is sort of 50-50.
yeah,
But I felt like we had a domination factor in certain areas of the field. I felt like
mm,
we're dominating certain areas of the field, but I felt like it was always one of them ones where I think they had the best chance of the first half still. They missed
yeah,
the
they
open
did.
goal.
They definitely did.
But then we should have maybe had a penalty, and then obviously we had a few chances in and around outside the box shots. We had a few little, headers,
Yeah,
comfortable saves, and that sort of stuff. And then, coming out second half, it was a case of, you know, keep doing what we're doing, but just up the intensity a bit more. Because I felt
yeah,
like we were kind of lower in intensity. We're trying to get the units closer together. I felt like we're a bit too far apart from like midfield to attack to defense.
right.
And then the goal goes in a minute after half time, and it's not game plan goes out the window, but it's more okay, cool. We now know Bournemouth are going to sit in and defend this lead. So we're going to have all the possession. Formation's a bit changed. Obviously, the winger came off. I then went out to the right wing, but was kind of able to go anywhere I felt like, but just off playing off the right wing. And then I feel like we were good in spells for like 20 minutes. I feel we had to score when we had the momentum going that way until they kind of not killed the game, but we made subs, they made subs. Time
Yeah,
wasting comes into play, and when you're sitting on the edge of your box, it's kind of a difficult one.
yeah. And the thing,
Um,
like,
go on.
in terms of when they could sit back, they had the players to get in behind, if that makes sense. So even if they weren't creating as much second half, like they could just get up the field,
Right.
and then if it goes back long, you don't have to start again. They're in
Yeah.
shape, all that stuff. So
Yeah. And where we've gone, where we play a different brand of, well, we played a different brand of football yesterday, where we're used to kind of going longer in behind. They've sat off, so it changes the style of play. So people that aren't used to playing aren't used to going, okay, we don't play against teams that sit back often. So it's a different thing. So now the centre back's got to step in with the ball. You get what I mean? And they're
yeah,
not, no disrespect to them, but they're not accustomed to doing those things. You get what I mean?
they
So
don't do it as much. Yeah,
yeah. So when it becomes now you got to do it in the biggest game of the season, it's like we've been doing something for 49 games now. We got to change for the 50th.
yeah,
So it's difficult, but all you can do is take what you can from the performance, and look at it, see what happened, see what went well, see what didn't go so well, and move on. It's football.
yeah. No, mate. I tweeted after the game. I just said football, eh? And that's literally it, bro. Like, just you win some, you lose some. You take it how it is. Two teams that were evenly matched. Uh, Great crowd, great attendance. Like for the final, it just felt like a good day all in all. And then and to top it off, like I said just before we started, the pitch was amazing.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
a perfect
amazing.
pitch. Perfect pitch for him,
So
man.
like better than League Two and probably half of League One, and it's the end of the season. Like no disrespect to other teams, but obviously Bournemouth are through Arsenal in it. So
Mm.
that's the lower league carpet effectively.
Yes, 100%,
So
100%.
yeah, no, obviously, because commiserations to Maidstone. They're used to having these kind of good long run stints the last 2 years, and then
Mm.
obviously congratulations to Bournemouth, didn't it? You get me?
Yeah, that's it.
They scored a banger, and the
Yeah.
banger won them the game. So, like, you can't. Obviously, there's always ways to stop goals, but when it's a very good goal as well, you just like you tip your hat off
Yeah.
to the op. So,
You give credit where it's due, man.
mhm.
And big ups. They're going up. A few of the guys there, good people. So a few
Yeah,
of them played for Mason this year as well. So big up to them, man. You can only just commiserations to us and all support to them and good luck for next season. Obviously, you never know where anyone's going to end up. So
true. Yeah,
it could be us playing with them. Do you get what I
yeah.
mean?
On a personal note, you go again. Get me. You rest. You recuperate. You actually get a preseason where you can, like, obviously this time last year you were injured. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually do. Obviously, you worked out preseason and you got fit in preseason, but like you can rest to then start preseason again.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
last year it was more of a. It wasn't even a rest. It was wait to train effectively,
Literally.
do your own training, and then boom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I felt like the last few games I've kind of been myself in terms of being able to get back on the ball, driving with it, and being fit. So, if I had the preseason and the off season that was necessary to a season, I,
Hmm.
I could only imagine the things I could do. But, coming into prime year, so my body's feeling better at the best it's felt. So, we can also only take the positives and kick
No,
on and go into
true,
next season.
true. But I mean, yesterday was just a game of games. Game seven.
Yes.
The Nuggets at the Oklahoma City Thunder. The
Hmm.
Thunder wrapped it up and they did it in very impressive style,
Yep.
effectively blowing them out. What was your thoughts on the game?
Early on, I was when I was watching, I was thinking, okay, cool. The Nuggets were in good position up until like around this. I want to say around the second quarter, around like the 6 minute mark in the second quarter. Jokic might have come out the game, or they just kept on turning the ball over. It was around 40. It was at 40 something. It was like 42-40, and then all I knew from there is OKC went on a run, and the run just didn't stop.
Well, they went on a run to start the second quarter. I don't know if that's when Jokic sat, and then I can't remember the exact period he sat, but he sat and they went on another quick run in the space of like
Two
two
minutes.
minutes or
Yeah, he
whatever,
sat.
and I'm like,
He sat when it was like 42 something. It was close. It was
yeah,
like a 4 point game, and it was a 16 point game by the time he came back in the game. So it was like, yeah. But game seven, you know how it is. You can't really rest, bro. You can't be sitting players for periods of time. Even though the OKC can go deep, you have to play your starting five near enough 48 minutes if you really want to win the game.
well, the Nuggets especially because like the depth's not there. I don't know. Obviously, you would have been at your game or just football minded. I don't know if you saw like the reports on Aaron Gordon throughout the day. So
Yeah.
initially they diagnosed him Sunday morning, and then well, when it came out to the public, everyone thought he weren't going to play. And then I
Mm.
think maybe less than an hour before the game or so, Sham said Aaron Gordon's going to play, but he's got a. These times had already said man's got a grade 2 hamstring. I'm like, bro, like, and then he had like 5 rebounds in the first quarter. I think 8 at the half, and he
Mm.
was actually like jumping to get the rebound, fighting. I'm like, bro, I said, fair bloody play to him, man. Like,
Yeah.
man's jumping on a grade 2 hamstring.
They gave him the NFL stuff.
I hear it. I
They
hear
gave him
it.
the NFL stuff. I know they gave him the NFL stuff for the one game because when I saw him out on the court, I was like, wait a second. What I read, because I read stuff the day before, I was like, he's not playing.
Yeah, yeah,
Then when I looked at my phone, I saw him in warm ups. I was thinking, surely this is from the other day. And then it was like, nah, it's from today. And I saw him on the court. I said, okay, fair play to him. But
yeah.
this could go one of two ways, either very well or very badly.
Yeah,
And, at the end of the day, he now gets his time to rest and recover because, yeah, that is a madness. But I just feel like the OKC had too much for them in terms of depth towards the end of the
yeah,
series. You could see it. The youth kind of played a great part in. Sometimes it doesn't play a good part, but it played a good part in terms of this.
And
And
their XP, their X factor is Caruso.
yep.
So he's the one that brings the experience. But
Hmm.
this playoffs, the games that they've won where he's made a difference, it's been so evident. Like it won't show up on the box score, but yesterday, obviously, Shea done his thing, J Dub
Mm.
done their thing. But if someone said Caruso was the best player on the court,
You
I
can't
couldn't
argue.
argue because he
You can't
he
argue.
guarded Jokic and
Yep.
called bare turnovers.
100%. It was a good game. It was a good game from OKC. It felt like the Denver ran out of steam. That's what it just
Yeah,
looked like to
same.
me. So after the second quarter, well, as soon as it hit the third quarter, we're like, okay, cool, game done, man.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. And Denver need to think about what's going on in the offseason anyway. Need a new coach. Might need to get some pieces there. Don't know what's going on with a lot of players because a lot of players haven't performed to their level that they're meant to perform in the playoffs. Michael Porter Jr., for instance, you get what I mean?
To be fair, not making an excuse for him or them in general, they had enough man playing through injury or illness throughout this round, especially. Like
Mm,
Jamal Murray was sick throughout the round, MPJ shoulder throughout the playoffs. Then Aaron Gordon, obviously, in
hamstring,
yeah. So it's
rough
just
brain.
yeah, and like the Nuggets, their season's weird because like obviously because I'm a LeBron guy. Lakers last couple of years, they've just been dunking on the Lakers, isn't it? Something like, bro, bun the Nuggets. But like I tweeted, I think early in the game or something, I said my head actually, I think my head wants OKC to go through for just because they're number one seed, they're youthful.
Mm,
It'll be four different teams in the playoffs, like well, the opportunity to win it. Sorry, but my heart wants the Nuggets to win it for everything they've gone through, obviously the recent things of sacking their head coach and GM just before the playoffs started, and everyone then rounding up together and just battling out the Clippers series and then again this series. The way they started the season on their personal front, Aaron Gordon's brother died, was it before the season started?
yeah.
And then Michael Porter Jr., was it his brother that died last summer? And one of his other brothers that got done for gambling as well.
Yes, yeah.
Like and I'm like, bro, like these men are just going through real life personal shit, yeah. But Aaron Gordon arguably had the best year of his career with the Nuggets. Like
Mm,
when he was healthy, he's most efficient. He was their X factor throughout the playoffs. 2 game winners in this series alone. It's like, bro, it's like I I the fight from the Nuggets for a team that sacked their head coach just before the playoffs. I said I commend them. I actually commend them. Like
110%.
so, yeah, like you said, you're right. This offseason for them is massive in terms of their squad depth, rebuilding their squad, whether they trade MPJ, you get like they need a squad. They need you can see the other teams, even though they'll have their star players, they've got depth.
Mm, that's the thing. That's the thing. They've got more than one. There's only one All Star in that team, like an actual All Star. We class other people on the team as stars in their roles, and Jamal Murray is probably just not an All Star because of the guards in the West. Do you get what I
And the
mean?
way he is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
uh,
So they've only got one super duper all world star within Jokic, and everyone else is basically playing a role. They're not
yeah,
really, but they're all playing. They're paid like stars. You get what I mean? That's what they're paid like
yeah.
stars, but they're not stars. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be an interesting one for the summer of the NBA. But big up OKC, get to see them in the
Yep.
finals. The Western Conference Finals against Minnesota, and then obviously we got the Knicks and Indiana, which is gonna be another great series on the East Coast. That's the main one for me. That's what I'm gonna be mainly watching. I'm liking that more than anything else.
It's crazy because once that series was confirmed, obviously we haven't spoke since Game 6 was played. Um,
Mm.
I was just, as soon as it was done, I was trying to find winning time all night. So what you go, obviously you were saying it last week, and I was like, nah, I actually need to watch it because I've still not watched it. I know of it, but I
Mm.
just didn't watch it, and I
Yeah,
couldn't find it anywhere. I was fuming.
bro. I got a link for you. I send you the link for the Winning Time documentary. But that's the
Please,
one that, yeah, that's the
I
one
need
that
it. I
needs
need
to be
it
watched.
before the series starts.
Yeah, 100%. You'll learn like the rivalry. That's
Yeah.
why it's so deep. The rivalry is super duper deep and it's ingrained. You would never think Indiana and New York, but it's mad.
I don't know if you saw last year when the WWE played into it. with Brunson and Halliburton. And I
Yep.
was like, what are the odds? The script writers, they script wrote with this one, bro. Like them
Mm-hmm.
two in the ring and now, boy, obviously they met in the playoffs last season. Then Brunson got injured, Pacers won. But bro, Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep. And you know what? I mean, I like the fact that all the teams in Eastern and Western Conference Finals are relatively young.
Yeah,
Like we've got the new crop of like teams that we're probably gonna see when Steph, KD, and LeBron are gone because we're kind of this is the new crop.
yeah, yeah.
We're seeing what's about to be the NBA. So it's very interesting, and obviously the older, more established superstars, the Giannis is of the generation after these guys are now making moves. So that's why I'm liking what I'm seeing, and it's like, okay, cool. The NBA's got a new lease of life, and we kind of now we're taking it forward. We know what's next, which is good, man. Which is good.
Yeah, no, it's true. Because even you saying that, like, Olympic squad last year, obviously the old names, the superstars, they were the main guys. They showed up, but then you've got Ant and Halliburton. Halliburton didn't really play in Olympics. Then Ant played here and there, and even I was watching LeBron's Man the Game with Steve Nash, and he was saying how much Ant took in and like soaked in information off him, KD, and Steph, and basically like doing it now in the playoffs. And you could probably say the same for Halliburton, bro. Like he's been
100%.
so clutch. His leadership, like he's a he's a true point guard. Do you know what I mean? But he can score when he needs to. And then
Yeah,
Ant's all-round game's just been better. His leadership's stemmed through the rest of the team. Like Julius Randle's he's been their X factor for the Timberwolves.
100%.
Um, and it's just like, bro, then obviously Brunson, if someone said Brunson's been the best player in the whole playoffs, you can't argue with that.
No.
And then Shea, this series, bro, he was a bucket. Even in the games they were losing, and he was still efficient.
Yep.
He just done Shea Butter stuff. Smooth. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
gonna
no, bro.
be a great finals. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but the conference finals and yeah, bro. Obviously I asked you last week, but let's get your predictions again. Now it's set in stone.
now it's set. I've got the Knicks and OKC just for.
How many
But
games?
do you know? I think I got the Knicks in 7.
Right.
And I think I've probably got OKC in 6 because I've seen what. No, do you know what? I think I got OKC in 6, but if they do it in 5, I wouldn't be surprised.
Phew, you're doubling down on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because I was thinking
Jeez.
about what's inside, and obviously Julius Randle, and you've got Julius Randle and Gobert inside, right? But they're not Jokic in terms of what they can do offensively. Do you
But
get what I mean? And then you've got
Randall,
enough defense on the perimeter to kind of not stop, but keep Ant at a steady medium. But if Ant scores loads, then you can battle that off with Shea, and then it's who's coming with him and who do you trust? Whose supporting cast do you trust more? OKC's or Minnesota's?
it's weird because I was fully thinking about this yesterday. And again, the Timberwolves, they've got good depth. And I feel like they've got more explosive scorers other than
Mm,
OKC. Oh, like OKC have showed this, especially this series. If the whole team come together while Shea gets his 30, they're all good. Do you know what I mean?
right.
Whereas like the Timberwolves, the games that Ant weren't as efficient scoring, but he got 7, 8, 9 assists, they were winning.
Mm,
And obviously Julius Randle's been efficient. Naz Reid can go off. There was a point in Lakers series, Naz
yep.
Reid hadn't missed a shot in the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
And then Rudy's going to have maybe 2 good games a series. If you get that out of him, that's a bonus in terms of the offensive side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
DiVincenzo comes off the bench, score. Jaden McDaniels, he upped his average as well. Bro, like, I personally think it's minimum 6 in this series.
But who have you got winning it though?
I don't want to fall into a prisoner of the moment, but I actually think the Timberwolves are winning in 7.
Well, okay.
I think they're winning in 7. Like, they've had, mentally, they've had good rest. And I just feel like last year's experience, and it's crazy because, again, going back to Ant, him being with LeBron, KD, and Steph, it could turn out as the best thing for him, but so bad for the rest of the NBA. Because if he clocks it, yeah, it's peak. It's peak.
Right.
Like in terms of like the all-round play, and I think he showed that he had his best year in general, best year shooting from three, and then the playoffs. It's just like, remember I was saying there's games I didn't think this team have been that good, but they're winning and they're not really breaking a sweat. Draymond even said it on his podcast because I was watching that the other day, and he said just the focus of the Timberwolves in general, and Baron Davis said it as well, is like the Warriors series with the Rockets, the emotions got into it. Whereas this one with the Timberwolves didn't let emotions get into it. They showed their rightful respect and they didn't get into that yippee yappy, all that kind of stuff. They
Right,
just
right,
got
right.
down to business. And I was like, boy, if you're hearing that for the Timberwolves, who people have previously classed as slightly immature, it's like, okay.
But then last year's experience of OKC also getting bounced in the first round, that can
Second round.
second round, sorry.
Well, they both lost to Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. But that can also play into their experience factor for this season.
I
And you
agree.
can see it in a long series, game seven, immaturity would usually show up and the more experienced team usually win because it's just a game of like plays. They didn't allow it to get to that.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
gone.
No, facts. That one I fully agree.
So that's where my mind's going. Okay, cool. I feel like OKC with the talent, with the depth, with the experience from last year, it's going to be too much for the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves ain't going deep as no one's going as deep as OKC. Let's be real in
Yeah, no,
terms of
that or on the other
rotation.
side, the Pacers.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, really and truly. So I just feel like the best player in the court in this series is going to be Shea. That's where my mind's gonna change the playing field. The best player on the court in the previous series has been Ant because Steph's been injured.
Yeah,
LeBron and Luca is toss up if you who you want to be calling the best player, but Ant was the best player in those series.
yeah,
He's been the best player in the next series, but in this series, Shea's healthy. The
yeah.
the the OKC are healthy, Minnesota are healthy. It's like we're getting a healthy versus healthy matchups finally in the playoffs.
The,
So
the one thing I'll give you on the OKC side is when it's shut down defense, they'll stop anyone in the NBA.
that's the
They're
thing.
they're the best defensive team. So this is why I do think it's gonna go minimum 6 at the least, and likely a 7. Like I won't be surprised if either team won.
I think it's gonna go. They're gonna win both games at home. Then they split on the road, and
Mm.
then they win back at home to close it out.
That you see, oh yeah, no, no. Now I'm following up. I was basically gonna say for OKC to win this series, they have to not let the Timberwolves take uh, a road victory because the
Yeah.
Timberwolves they're good. They're somewhat better away from home. They showed that last year in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Like they're just it's like all right, whatever court we're playing on, we're good. Like
Yeah.
OKC need to win their home games for me.
Game one and two need to be won. If you let the Timberwolves steal game one or two, that's when you're gonna have problems. That's when I'm gonna say, okay, cool. That's when my man will go 7 game series, and it's now down to whoever's gonna perform in the moments and be the man.
But
So yeah,
after this Denver round, when the Nuggets were 2-1 and Shea was smiling, walking off the court
yeah,
like that,
he knew.
you can't doubt Shea Butter again.
No,
you can't,
no.
you can't. And they should have given MVP to whoever just before the game, bro. Literally just
Man,
before the game announced it. But
Jokic
I don't
though.
know. I think you might be changing my mind. This series, I think both series. I hope both series go 7-1,
Yep, that's definitely what I need. I need them both to go 7.
and then whoever touch wood, wherever the wood is, there we go. That everyone's healthy. There's no key injuries, and then whatever. Because I actually don't mind which team goes. Obviously, I feel for like the fandom wise, there's just the hype. The
The Knicks.
Knicks facing whoever will just be
Yeah.
amazing. Do you know what I mean? But we cannot write the Pacers off
Mm.
at all. But yeah, again, whoever goes to the finals, just God willing, they're healthy throughout this series and they're healthy in the final, and we just get pure apex entertainment. The best young teams, like you said. So
Yeah, man. That's why it's
yeah,
good. When you ain't got no dog in the fight, you're just happy to watch the game. You're just
yeah,
sitting there thinking, oh well, my team's out now, so
Yeah,
and just
bro. That's
watching
why I
basketball to
think
watch
that's
it.
why I really enjoyed this Nuggets OKC series, even the Nuggets Clippers series as well. I was like, bro,
Hmm.
there's literally no dog in the fight, and even the Eastern Conference series, like, bro, yeah, that's obviously get Boston out. They got out, but yeah,
I don't mind them. That's the only Tash hates Boston for no reason, for reasons we
that
don't know. But you know,
just um. But yeah, no NBA Finals. All right, so you said you've got the Knicks versus OKC,
yeah.
and I'll have to stick with the Timberwolves versus the Knicks. Yeah,
Mm. I'm not saying
and then
Indiana can't do it though, because
yeah.
everyone. I'm not saying Indiana can't do it. Indiana can very much win this game in five games.
Bro, I
Like they
bet
can
against
really do
Indy
that.
all playoffs,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, all right, cool, Joe, we got you.
Hmm.
And then it's so tight. On that though, my finals matchup is weird. Well, in relation to this, the Knicks and Timberwolves trade of Cat, Julius Randle,
Yeah.
DiVincenzo. Bro, both teams are in the conference finals, and I think I said at the time it was a good trade for both teams. I think we all
Yeah.
said it.
It's a perfect trade for both teams
Yeah,
because they both got back. Well, Timberwolves have got back to where they were last year. So you
yeah.
know, for their trade, for it to be a better trade for them, they probably want to go a step further so to
But
understand.
given the way their regular season went, you wouldn't think they'd got this far because their
Of
regular
course.
season was a bit shaky in it. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah. Yeah.
Randall's just stepped it up this
That's
playoffs. I had
that's
his
true.
best playoffs easily.
That is true. But that's what I'm saying. With if they go a step further, that's when the trade goes. Okay, cool. We can confirm that this trade was
Yeah.
very, very good. But obviously, the trade's great because you made it back to the same point you made it to last year. The Knicks have taken a step further,
Hmm.
so that trade has worked out in their favor. They made many trades, so it wasn't there just the one for them.
Yeah.
But they built a team that works for them, and the trade is a trade,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Facts.
it's worked well, and we're gonna see where obviously if it can take them to the finals and beyond. So
Yeah. And I think out of all the teams, the Knicks are probably the least shooting free team,
yeah, I'd
and
say
maybe
so.
even OKC to an extent, but they can just go crazy hot.
Yeah, I say the Knicks don't they like they're a very old school hard nosed basketball team in terms of like OG Ananobi really wants to be shooting twos. Mikael Bridges is twos. Jalen Brunson is really twos, but threes when he needs in the crunch time. Josh
Big
Hart
Buddy
isn't really.
Bronson.
Yeah, Josh Hart's not really a scorer, but he'll get
Yeah.
you. He'll get you the Draymond numbers. You get what
Yeah.
I mean? And then Cat will surprise you some nights.
He's the shooter.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
the shooter out of all the players.
Yeah, he'll shoot threes, but you really want him down on the block. But this series that you might, I don't know where you want in this series. It's different. It's difficult because you don't want him really down on the block because they got two bigs in there, but you don't really want him outside because you can isolate the two bigs by pulling one out with Jaden Brunson. So you know,
But that matchup between him and Miles Turner will be interesting because they both like to shoot the free. They both
yeah,
don't really like to play in the paint as much. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? So
no, it's true.
it's going to be an interesting matchup. And then
Yeah,
all around, like I think this is a great matchup in both sides. Great
mm,
matchup both sides because all teams, like you said, all different styles of play.
yep,
So no, it's going to be a fun one. Whoa, let's go. Oh, hey, it's NBA baby,
yeah,
fantastic. You said the NBA is dead. F off,
yeah.
F off.
They're not
Get
really
me.
watching.
And then the NBA rigging the trade for the Mavs because they made the NBA get live with the Luca trade, but we'll talk about Cooper Flag another day.
Yes, yes, yes. Also, did you see the WNBA? I like to just always while we're on it. Did you see the
Yes,
WNBA with obviously the first games for the
yes,
new season, obviously, and it's always a marquee matchup: Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever,
yep.
and
Watch that game.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have come together. What are your thoughts on what's actually gone on with the flagrant foul call, the reaction, and everything that's come with it?
When it happened at the time, I said, Clark, there was no lead for a little shove. Obviously, little something happened earlier. And Angel Reese don't like her, but I know she respects her.
Mm,
And then, but we see it in the men's game in bare sports. Not all athletes like each other. There's actual rivalries, and I've got no issue with that.
hmm
My thing is the hoo ha after. calling out RG3, that bruv, that guy, bruv, man went on some shit soliloquy. I don't know if you've seen it about uh Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, blah blah blah. I'm like, brother, no one want you see when like it's weird because it's separate topic, but you see when like black women on socials they'll say like black men let them down and blah blah blah.
Mm,
Obviously he's got a white wife, no problem with that. But he's the people that they speak like generally I'm like I don't like when they generalize us and they put us in that bubble.
right.
But then sometimes when clowns like him just chat shit the way they do, I'm thinking, you know what? They got a point for sometimes.
Mm,
But people like you, bruv. People like you, bruv. And even his video, I don't know if you watched it. I saw a small clip. His wife's just in the background laughing. I was like, bruv, optics wise, like he says some weird shit in general, but I'm like, brother, like this ain't the time or place. Why don't you first talk about? I think is it the Barstools guy that the guy that owns Barstools or runs
Dave
it?
Portney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like got a personal weird vendetta against Angel Reese. He
Mm,
was at the game with all in the Indiana Fever kit.
yeah,
He
yeah, I see.
goes games all heckling her, talk like, and I think there's been people have tweeted the WNBA commissioner saying, why are you constantly allowing this guy courtside when like he's online abusing Angel Reese and then
Mm,
he's going to games. You could be a supporter of teams, that's completely fine, but you're then abusing like it's like bro, and he's got a profile, he's a prominent person. I'm like, I said, I tweeted RG3, I was like, why don't you talk about that first before you're talking about an actual rivalry? Even if they hate each other, you don't need to go and make a video about it. No one cares, bro.
mm,
So it's like the hoo ha after. Like, if anything, them not liking each other because you could tell it goes both ways as well. Caitlin Clark's got something for her, even if she feels like Angel Reese disrespected her. It's helping the WNBA in terms of viewership as well. Because
yep.
when they match up, bro, whatever night it was, Saturday night, I had the game on.
Yeah.
I weren't
Yeah.
out. I had the game on. So yeah, and Indiana just blew them away. Caitlin's phenomenal, bruv.
Yeah, no, like basketball wise, I don't think they're in the same realm in terms of
Yeah, same.
talking about like there's no rivalry basketball wise, but I feel like the rivalry just comes from okay, the antics have happened before, what everything that carried over LSU, and you get what I mean, the ring
The ring,
finger,
the college game,
the you
every,
can't see me stuff. I think that's where it's all stemmed from. But the foul itself, I was like, when I watched it the first time, I was like, that's a take foul. There's no need for a reaction. But you know, if someone that does someone you just don't like does something minimal,
facts,
you're gonna react anyway. Do you get what I
facts.
mean? Even if it's nothing, even if it's a normal foul, because they don't like each other, someone's gonna react.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
because
facts.
Angel Reese almost feels like, oh, everyone forgets about her when they're talking about who brings the ice to the WNBA. It probably is Caitlin Clark, if we're being 100% totally honest.
It
It's not
is.
probably, it is. But,
It is.
but you know, she feels some type of way, and no one can tell her how to feel. So that's why she reacts to certain ways that she does.
And my
But
thing is just let them grow into their roles, especially as rookies. Like their rivalry alone has brought so much viewership the last season. It's
mm,
like whoever plays their side of hero villain, just let them play into their roles and
yep,
actually let them play, and then do the psychoanalysis couple years down the line, bruv,
mm-hmm.
and then realize, oh, maybe it's not a rival like Serena and Williams and Maria
Sharapova.
Sharapova. When early on, oh, rivalry, it wasn't a
No,
rivalry in the end,
no,
and eventually people shut up.
yeah.
Do you know
It's
what I
it's
mean?
it's true. You just try, but you know, the media want to carry a narrative and create what they want to create from a situation that's not actually a situation sometimes,
Yeah,
because you know, having it a big story. Obviously, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese bring viewership.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you know,
facts.
it's like it's like LeBron. It's like the Cowboys. Like
Yeah,
they find their what they can find in
yeah, yeah.
somewhere to bring viewers. They know okay, someone's gonna click and it's gonna start an argument. So or it's gonna start a discourse. So I understand what they're doing, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a take foul. There was no need for the overreaction, but hey, it is what it is. I think after
Yeah,
the game, cooler heads prevailed, and you know they go on and carry on the season. We'll see them in
literally
a
that,
few
bro.
months. See them down the line.
Yeah, when they match up again, we go again. Get the
Exactly,
viewership up again. Who's
exactly.
complaining? So yeah, but
Good
yeah,
for the
Caitlin
game.
Carter's a joke. Already tied third on triple double list of all time
Mm.
already. Is like, but Aaliyah was it Aaliyah Boston? She hooped that game.
Yeah. Player in there.
She bloody player, bruv. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to WNBA because even I didn't watch Paige Buckers'
Debut.
opening game, but immediately when I woke up next day, that was the first thing I checked to see what were her numbers like and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then is it Nafisa Collier? She absolutely killed them, like
Yep.
killed the Dallas Wings. So it's like, and she's a lot of people's favorites for the MVP this season.
Yeah, it's going to be a good MVP race. It's going to be a good season for the WNBA
Yeah.
because you know, Caitlin Clark's already got a lot of people's votes.
Yeah, yeah. She will, as long as she's doing her thing, bro.
Yeah.
And then AJ Wilson, she just always gonna be involved in it.
Hmm.
And then
She's the best
yeah,
player. She's
so
the best player in the W. So you know,
but bro, this is these people need to give these young girls credit because they're the ones that are bringing people like
I agree.
me, my eyes to watch college
Hmm.
game. Bro, me and you were watching college games the last couple of years at like
Yeah.
whatever time. Women's college game, we weren't watching the men's one.
Nope.
You
Didn't
get me?
care.
We didn't care, bro, but we cared for this one, and then
Hmm.
we followed it to watching it in the WNBA, bro. So it's definitely doing a good job. Like the Hoopers, like Paige doing her thing for college, and then it's just funny with the women's college game, March Madness. Um, they'll do whatever the WNBA draft, and then the season starts literally all in the space
Literally.
of like 6 weeks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Just it's turnover so fast. It's just
It's
like boom, boom, boom.
crazy, bro.
Go and play. And then the season is like 6 months.
Yeah,
And they play 40 games, not the 82 the NBA play
yeah,
40, and then obviously they have playoffs after that. So it's still a long period, and then they have their own leagues that they go
yeah,
into,
yeah.
and you
Yeah,
know,
because they do the 3v3s. A lot of them
yeah,
sign up for that, and then some
yeah.
go international, all that stuff. So,
So they're
bro,
all it's slowly becoming more global in terms of like, and that's down to these young superstars.
yeah, yeah.
So
Or
so
even if
yeah,
they're not classed as superstars, just the names itself, they're bringing the viewership.
yeah, 100%.
So I credit to them, and long may it continue. As long as, for me, as long as the product's entertaining, then that's all I care about.
Hmm.
Whether it's oh yeah, blah blah numbers, all this jazz, bro. I just want entertainment. It's like
Yep,
just for argument's sake, tennis. When women's tennis is at its apex, bro, I flip and love it
yep.
because it's pure, absolute quality entertainment. Apex athletes, like bro, that's what we want at the end. Well, me as a viewer, anyway. So,
Hmm. Speaking of
um,
tennis, I was watching the Italian Open the other day, and I can't remember her name. Asian woman. She played number one in the world. Her name was like Zhang. I want to say Zhang. I might be so off. And
yeah,
she played number one in the world. And I looked and said, you know what? There's some up and coming tennis players that I don't know in the women's side of the game that are really killing it right now.
yeah,
Because obviously all we hear about in the UK is Radicanu and they give you the same damn names. I'm thinking, bro, don't give me the same names because people ain't winning like that. I don't want to hear about these people. Give me the people that are winning, the Coco Goffs. I want to see the
yeah.
winners. And
I think
Naomi
is it
Osaka.
Sabalenka that might be world number one at the moment.
Yes, that's her name. She was playing
Yeah,
against the woman was playing against her, but she was dominating.
yeah.
But yeah, I was enjoying. And then Alcaraz on the men's side he's a special.
Yeah,
He's
he
a
beat Sinner, didn't he, to win the
yeah,
Italian Open?
yeah, but he's
And
a special
because
player.
Sinner's been world number one, I think he still is. But
It's
boy,
just because the amount of games Sinner's been playing, though. I think Alcaraz is the world number one in everyone's minds.
but Sinner won a few Grand Slams last year. That's why.
Right.
So once he eventually got his not drug charges, look at me saying as if you've got found drugs, but when he doping or whatever
Mm,
off him and all that stuff when he was playing again. I think he won, if I'm not mistaken, like the last two Grand Slams. I might be wrong, or maybe
yeah.
the last US one and then Australian Open this year. But I remember Winston went like
Mm.
confirmed as world number one. So
Yeah,
yes.
it's big and big about.
Back to soccer.
Yes.
As you can tell, I am wearing the Crystal Palace, South London's number one. You know it's true. We're
The
red
red
and
and blue. I've
blue.
had that song in a long time.
FA Cup final. Oh my gosh, their first major trophy.
Ever.
I
Ever.
ever. What a moment for the club. Those affiliated with the club, past, present,
Mm.
whatever. Norwood, South Norwood, Fulton Heath, Norbury, Croydon,
Yeah,
South London.
yeah.
Thoughts?
Great result. Great result. Um, Honestly, the club that I grew up playing for, actually as a grew up my whole life playing for, basically,
Yeah.
it's great.
Let me
It's
put
great
my
to
hair
see
back
them.
so I can give them justice.
It's great to see them. It's great to see them in the position they're in now. Um, Obviously, I love the. I can't tell you I love the people at the club, but I love the
Yeah,
players at
yeah.
the club. I love the players at the club.
I knew it was
And
coming.
and how honestly they represent South London so well.
Mm,
And they represent more than South London. It's black people in general.
mm.
They represent family, faith, and
Bro,
community.
Faith, big time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and community. The football club is, and the team is perfect. And to see what such an achievement. Obviously, they've been there before, getting into the FA Cup final when Man United beat them all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Been there before, didn't quite get over the line, and this time getting over the line in the fashion they did against the team that's been the holders, won it so many times in recent
Yeah.
years. It's probably the best way to do it. With Eze being the star man, obviously scoring the goal.
Well, actually, City, this back to back, I think they're the first, no, I don't know first thing, but they've lost back to back FA Cup finals. They've been in
Yes,
three in a row.
yeah.
But, but
But
yeah,
they
go on,
always get
sorry.
there. They always do get there. But yeah, Eze being a star boy is always. And yeah, man, it was a great moment to see. Something different, a nice welcome change. Palace kind of
Yeah.
doing their thing, bringing it home. I know the parade's on the 26th of May.
I'm so pissed I'm not here, bruv.
Yeah, I'll be in England. I'll be in England for that. I think. Yeah, I'll be back in England for that.
So pissed, bruv.
So the parade's on the 26th of May, which is going to be good. Obviously, them rolling through South London. Obviously, it's something special for the streets of London that we haven't, South London, which we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Palace in Europe, which has never been seen before.
Bro, man said we might get Roma.
Yeah,
Roma walking down Morley's and that, bruv, on the high
yeah,
street.
they're gonna be thinking what's going on. But that's the beauty of the FA Cup and the beauty of the Premier League and what South London and Crystal Palace have produced. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
big up the club in general, man. Big up the club. They've produced so many players over the years, and
Hmm.
finally something's come to fruition, and they've got their first major trophy in 100+ years. So yeah, big them up.
Yeah,
Last
no,
one was
bro.
promotion
I
to the
think
Prem.
if I was at Wembley, I think I might have cried. It's good I didn't go because the camera might have caught me crying and people be like, "You're a Man United supporter." I'm Palace on my second team. If you know me, everyone like those that know me know I've been invested in this club. Bro, since not even live around this area through the obviously cars, the man them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I feel like I know Palace at the back of my hand, bruv,
yeah,
to an extent, in it. So it was. I think it was just brilliant, man. Like a lot of the players, their speeches, like again, like you touch up on their faith. Their faith is just fantastic to witness. They call Lacroix the pastor of the team, but
mm,
even like Joe Ward, like his final season, he's been at the club 13 years. Joe Ward's always been big on his faith.
100%.
It was just like a perfect send off. And again, like you said, the brothers, they got a fairly young team or good age, and it's just mature. And it's only the last year or two, no, last couple of years I started to feel because for years I feel like they didn't get recruitment right. They just relied on Wolf just getting them over the line, getting them, keeping them up, keeping them up. I'm like, bro, come on. I used to tweet Parish, get me on board on your scouting team. Do you know what I mean? And then,
Mm,
bro, once you get your recruitment right, and then you finally bring in that top quality manager, because Glasgow won the Europa League a couple of years ago with
with
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yep.
Then final season, German Cup final, he
Hmm.
lost it. But bro, he knows what to do. He's a proper coach.
Yeah.
And then just a moment of magic, and then yeah. So yeah, it was a fantastic feeling. Shame I'm missing the parade, but I'm absolutely buzzing. Like I feel better for them winning the FA Cup than I did us last season. But it's so crazy because now ours has led to the Europa League final. Do you know what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Which could now lead to Champions League, which will help us massively because right now we're in a rut. But we'll talk about
Mm,
United another day. On that front, question, because someone tweeted it and it came in one of my group chats. They said I don't even want to ask it as a question because I feel it's slightly disrespectful. But is Eze now a bigger legend than Zaha
No,
for the club?
no, never will be.
Thank you.
No,
Well,
no
not
one.
never will be, but not at this moment at all.
I'll be honest. Never. I'm gonna say never will be. There's no one that's touching Wilfried Zaha's status in South London in Crystal Palace history because there's not any of these players without Zaha there. That's the
Yeah,
first thing. Zaha single-handedly kept the team that should have been relegated from the Premier League every year in the Premier League every single year. He single-handedly took the team by himself from Championship to the Premier League.
obviously there was pieces as well, but
Of
he,
course,
yeah,
Yala, you're not going to disrespect Yala and Jedinak and the boys
yeah,
in
no
between
facts.
and punching and that sort of stuff. But he was the key. He was the key. And he also made a move to Man United, which financed and helped the football club
Yeah, he
in the
actually
times
did.
of
Yeah,
need. Do you get what I mean? Like he's done everything possible. He's been everything for South London. When he could have made bigger moves, he signed a new contract and stayed. Do you get what I mean? He stayed to the end of his contract and left on a free. He
yeah.
ran like he played the length of his deal. He did everything possible for the community, for the football club. Like he embodies South London. As much as he's out there enjoying his life in Charlotte right now, he is South London and proud. He is what Crystal Palace is.
Sorry, you made a very good point. I hope Liverpool fans, you're listening. Zaha ran out his contract, and Palace fans, they still treated him like a legend.
Of course.
Maybe take a note out of their book for all the abuse. Oh, you don't know how we feel. Trent, he came through. You can't comment on other players. That is a very good point, Jacob. Sorry to interrupt you. You just highlighted something I did not think about. But yes, sorry.
But yeah, no, that definitely it. And for one, Zaha is from the academy to the legend of the football club. Do you get what I mean? That's why I don't think Eze could ever be on like higher. He's never going to be a legend. He's going to be a legend in Crystal Palace history, but he's never going to be on top of Wilfried Zaha. It's just not
Yeah,
going to happen, just because of the status and the things that Zaha's done. And Eze eventually is going to leave. He got bought and he's going to leave. Do you get what I mean?
yeah,
He's got bigger aspirations, and the way the Premier League is now, and what teams need, he's fit. He's a perfect fit for bigger sides. And I feel like Palace have bought smart, and they bought like players like Roman Esse and things like that to get them through. But you got to remember that Elise was there. Look what Elise's gone on to do this year.
yeah.
Like Eze's going to go on to do the same things that Elise's done somewhere else. You get what I mean?
And it's funny because these players that you've named, they more likely would not have come to Crystal Palace if it wasn't for Zaha.
Exactly. That's the main man that's brought them there, because the creativity. Everyone is similar in some form of way to him. The creativity,
Yeah,
the balance, the arrogance, the confidence you have to
bro.
have
There
comes
was
from him.
sorry, there was years ago. I'll never forget Wolves' interview. When I think Palace had lost or near enough lost every single game. He started the season injured, and then his first game was against Chelsea at home, and he done a Sky Sports interview, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna keep them up." And I think it was like 8 games into the season, and they were bottom or second bottom. He said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna keep them up." First game, I don't even think he played 90 minutes. He might have played 60. I can't fully remember, but I remember them winning 2-1, and he scored against Chelsea. And bro, he just kept them up.
Bro,
And he done it year after year after year. Like
bro,
they didn't have a lot of again, that's why I didn't think recruitment was the greatest. But they wanted to survive. So when you look back on it, you kind of get it, innit? Do you know what I mean? To an extent. When you've got someone like that who won, he was rarely ever injured, like for long. He was you lot would tell me Wolf is playing through injuries.
100%, 100%.
Like he's from what I've heard in top flight football for a long time. He's one of the most fittest guys. Well, in his prime in the Prem, one of the most fittest guys, or one of the best in terms of their just natural recovery compared to other players.
Yep,
It's like
yep,
Salah. Salah's probably hurt, but alien recovery.
yeah,
And
100%. I
the way you lot used to describe Wolf is the same way I imagine that. Do you know what I
That's
mean? So,
literally it. And I remember the time. I think I might have said it before, where we were in the physio room, and Wilf was recovering from a knee injury, and I was sitting there with Andros Townsend, and Wilf went down like he got hurt, And Andros looked and said, "Oh my God, if he's injured, we're not winning another game. Like
Yeah,
he's the like Andros Townsend at the time coming to football club, big player.
yeah,
If
yeah.
he's injured, we're not winning another game. Like we said, no, that's our season done. If he's hurt, he needs to be fit.
Mm.
Like that. That's how much they relied on him. So that's why being in the building, I understand. Do you get what I mean? When you're in the building with a player of that stature and you understand what he means to the football club, the players, everything, like he is the reason why Crystal Palace are where they are today.
Yeah.
So
Facts, man.
I love Eze, I love all the players there, but they're never gonna reach that status. That status is what Thierry Henry is at Arsenal. I'll be honest, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, bro. I can't argue with that. Like, he was one of the only few footballers I could see that would, no matter what, no matter what ends of footballers from him just regularly on the high street. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it was normal when he was completely just safe, all that stuff. And yeah, just from the footballing aspect, bro, like the club are literally, that FA Cup win was because of him putting the club on his shoulders all those
Hmm.
years. And it's funny because I don't know if you saw a little clip a couple weeks ago when he was asked about if he'd come back to the club and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I
he
see
just
it.
basically said, like in a respectful way, I've done my part. If I come back now, or come back at some point, paraphrasing, I might come back washed. I won't be the same and stuff like that. And like a lot of Palace fans, I saw their replies. They were like, "Bro, like we rate his honesty and everything, innit?" And I feel like they've always liked that from him from the offset. Obviously, there's times you'll think he might be petulant and stuff like that, which will naturally annoy opposition fans, of course, and sometimes your own fans, but they also understood how much he cared.
100%, 100%. When you're a player that should be playing in the top six club and you're playing in the bottom or a mid-table team your whole career just because your love for the club or offers aren't correct or things aren't correct elsewhere, you're gonna gonna have the petulance. You're gonna think to yourself, bro, I could play with better people, but I'm here doing this. Do you get what I mean? So that's understandable when you understand the man, and understand what he's going through at the football club and everything that's around him and the
Yeah,
pressure on his shoulders. Because you have to remember, it's not just the football club that are relying on you. It's the hundreds of millions of fans, Crystal Palace fans. It's the ownership. Like billions of pounds are relying on one man in that series.
yeah,
Those
for a period
times,
of time.
yeah, billions, not millions, billions of relying on one man to keep them in the Premier League. Because they go
Yeah,
down, he's gone, and you never know. Look at Luton and look at all these football clubs that go Championship and never return.
yeah. Again, you name and Luton, just the amount of clubs that have back-to-back relegation, or not even back-to-back relegation. They'll be in the Prem. I think I tweeted the other day in the space of 7 or 8 years, Luton and Cardiff, because Cardiff recently got relegated. They were both Premier League clubs, obviously at
Hmm.
different time frames, and they're both now League One clubs.
Yep. Look at Huddersfield.
Yeah,
Look at Bolton. Look
yeah.
at Portsmouth.
And Charlton, if they don't go back up,
Yep.
like,
Look at Sunderland.
yeah,
Although they could be back in the Premier League next year, but look at what's gone on. Look at Sheffield United. Look at all these teams where they were.
hmm,
Like they've left the Premier League and relegated League One. Bradford left the Premier League God knows how long ago. They're just back in League One now.
yeah, sure.
Do you get what I mean?
It's actually
Like
so true.
when you start deep in it, like what someone like Wilfried Zaha means to a football club, if you break it down, you understand it from that status. It's like that
That
man is one in a million.
that's a great point you made. Like in terms of obviously us speaking about him, but now seeing where club, like when you say Bradford, like when I grew up, Bradford, when I was a kid, they were in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Obviously, we don't know where Palace are going to be in 10 to 15 years, but the place that he left them at, and now where they are for them to win their first trophy. It's like, bro, now it's just obviously if they mess up, it's on the club in general or whatever. But
That's
now
their
it's just
fault.
to either further solidify yourself or slowly but surely continue to build. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, they don't look like a team they're a steady Premier League team. They're not getting relegated anytime soon. The
yeah.
teams that come up is too much for them to stay up. I'll be honest. So
And again, they can attract players. Even if players go, they can attract players.
definitely now in Europe.
Yeah, oh yeah, great point. For one, that's why I don't feel like I partly slightly feel Eze will stay because Europa League, you don't get too much money, so but your squad still needs to be big. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Yeah.
they still need quality within both competitions, if that makes sense. Because you don't
Right.
want your Europa League campaign to hinder your league campaign. Man United can make that excuse. Wink. No, I'm
Mm.
joking. But like, I slightly think they'll keep a hold of most of their best players for at least this one season, innit?
I agree. I agree. And the clubs that he would be moving to, in my mind, would have been the Tottenhams, the Man Uniteds, the teams that are
Arsenal.
just. Do you get what I mean? But like now you're looking at it, it's like, okay, cool. Well, we're Europa League and we're fighting for something in the Premier League. We can do this one more year. If it doesn't work out in the Premier League, we finish same position, and we get to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Great, we had a great season. Okay, cool.
Bro, imagine they go on, just for argument's sake, go to the final of Europa League next year. Because
It's
they can.
it's
They've got
possible.
one, the format, no Champions League teams dropping.
Hmm.
Then two, you've got a manager that's won it.
Exactly. And you're going to attract players that are going to want to play in it.
Yeah.
So it's very, very possible. It's not out of bounds to think that they can't do it. It's very, very possible. We're seeing all the European, all the UK, the British teams doing it this year. So what's the
Hmm.
chances it can't happen next year?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's going to be exciting for them. And just even us having European football on doorstep, I know we'll be at the game. So
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
wherever we are, we'll be at the game. But
Hmm.
song of the week.
Yes, yes, yes. My song of the week is one of my favorite Drake songs, and it's "Over My Dead Body" by Drake. One of the greatest intros to an album ever. Probably not getting any better than that.
To
That's
be
my
fair, you have said that a few times, so
yeah.
I
But
can't fault you for that. Mine is I'm sticking with South London. Young Steflon, young Steph, young Steflon, favorite poison.
nice, nice, nice.
So someone told me to listen to it the other day, and I was like, all right. So
Yeah.
young Steph, what you say, young South London? You get me? South London's number one. You
Yeah,
know it's
it's true.
true. We're
The
red
red
and
and blue. Ooh.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's one thing else, man. Crystal Palace the crowd. That's one thing that will always get you going, man.
Bro, amazing, man. I was so happy for my friends that are Palace fans, man. Honestly,
Yeah, man. And I see Bola there. Bola.
yeah, bro. He put up a great post about just a picture with Eze, and I was like, bro, it's just lovely to see your loved ones win, innit? You get me?
Mm.
And it just, even if you don't know these people personally, it just feels like the man them are winning. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Do you
don't
know?
know Eze personally. It's like the man them are winning.
Do you know what's funny? You said that because even all the playoff games, like my playoff game, when I went to watch the Dover versus Dartford playoff game, even when Horsham got promoted, yeah,
Yeah,
the amount of mandem that are there that everyone's going to everyone's games. I don't even know how
yeah,
we're
bro.
making it to everyone's games because we have games on the same day,
Yeah,
but we're all making the rounds to everyone's games, which is
yeah, man.
real great. Like even after the game, me and Mons were just having a conversation about the game and that sort of stuff. And I see him get promoted this year with Horsham, knowing what he was going through last summer,
Yeah,
being
yeah. Trust.
rehabbing at FSCR, and seeing Roman get promoted from at Dover, being at
Nah,
that
trust.
game.
Touch up on that. Shout out Roman, bro.
Yeah, seeing all the man them basically I saw on Sunday at my game at that game, and
Yeah.
everyone's people from last year, everyone's just making the rounds. It don't matter where the games are, everyone is trying to be there, which
Bro,
is great to see as well, man.
support your peoples, man. And end of the day, it's a good day out as well, bro. Good couple
Hmm.
hours. Just forget about life. That's the beauty of football and sports in general, bro. Like,
Yeah,
no matter what race, background, you go to a football stadium, and as long as you're not hearing excessive abuse, you're gonna have a good day. And as long as your team don't get bad.
yeah, exactly. And then during the game, you man are talking to me. I'm trying to ask you what we changing right now? What do we
Had
need
to
to
keep it
change?
short and sweet. I said, get around. I said, second boost. Get there. That's it. That's it. Second boost.
Oh man, that's what's good about the non-league stage as well. You can have a conversation. Like I was asking my brother and my dad that was sitting in the front row. I was like, okay, cool. What angle next? Because you guys can
Yeah.
see from a different perspective where I should be. And they're saying, just carry on doing what you're doing. Just go and get the ball. Do you get what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah, no, it's good. It's still good. Good fun. And
Yeah. No, it's true. Anyway, we can wrap this up, my brother. You get
yes,
me?
yes, yes.
Another great episode. Thoroughly enjoyed this one, actually.
Hmm.
I think we could have just kept going, but
Yeah.
time waits for no man and all that
Hmm.
jazz. But as dead, let's say,
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
and of course, yours truly, Jacob.
Like and subscribe.
Get me, like my brother said, please, people, like, subscribe. That's very important to us. Keep listening, keep following, keep watching, keep commenting. Throw whatever you want to throw at us, and we shall try and discuss for you. Even guests as well. We're trying to get certain guests on. We're
Hmm.
still trying to do that. Obviously, we've got busy summers coming up, but we're still going to try and deliver for you peeps. Get me, but blessings. God bless people. We love you. Get me. Sound all emotional in that. It's the palace, mate. It's the Joe NBT signing out.
Jacob signing out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening.